Today on Loyola News Chicago, an incident of racial discrimination at a local high school. Why students are calling for one CPS teacher to be fired. Also, Loyola issues a response to the coronavirus epidemic, and 2 Loyola graduate students take the phrase, "There's an app for that," into their own hands.
From the Convergence Studio in the School of Communication, this is Loyola News Chicago.
Welcome to this year's first newscast of Loyola News Chicago. I'm Connor Bergen. We begin with a developing story about protests at Senn High School in Edgewater. Shelby Kluver has more.
The students are protesting a recent incident where a teacher allegedly told a student of color to, quote, "go back to your country." This happened after she sat during the national anthem at a Spanish Heritage Assembly. The student and her friend, also a student of color, say they were asked to leave. Wednesday's protest lasted 2.5 hours, and numerous sources report extra police were called in by the school. Videos posted to social media show large groups of students holding signs and chanting. We want justice, we want peace, we want justice, we want peace. Fire him, fire him, fire him, fire him. We are safe, 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 we are safe. Other videos show a student with disabilities who says the same teacher made fun of him 2 years ago. We've shortened the crowd reaction in the middle.
The same teacher who told Yessie to go back to her country, he was making fun of my disability. That was 2 years ago. And he's still here. What did Ms. Beck say? Well, that's how he is.
Senn Principal Mary Beck says she notified CPS within 3 hours of getting the report in January. In an official statement, CPS told Loyola News the district is opening an investigation. They also said they will be working hard with Senn students to ensure their voices are heard. But students' main concern is that it's been 2 weeks and the teacher still has his job. When Principal Beck spoke to students at the sit-in, their frustration was obvious.
So why is he still here? Why is he still here?
There were reports of violence breaking out, and a 15-year-old student was arrested for battery after a teacher was pushed to the ground. But organizers say it was not connected to the sit-in. Instead, they're focused on the impact of the protest. Maya Singer, a freshman, told us she thinks Wednesday's events shed light on January's incident, but more work needs to be done. Principal Beck and the teacher in question didn't answer our request for comment. We'll continue to update you as this story develops. Back to you, Connor.
Thank you, Shelby. Senn High School has several student teachers from Loyola, as well as close ties with the university's School of Communication. The schools are connected in a partner journalism program. The worldwide coronavirus epidemic is getting worse. Chinese health officials confirmed yesterday 15,152 new cases of the virus and 254 additional deaths. This brings the death toll in China to 1,367. 242 of the additional deaths reported yesterday in the province of Hubei were reported in the province of Hubei where the outbreak originated. China has removed top political leadership from the province today in response to the outbreak. At least 25 countries have confirmed cases of the coronavirus. The number of U.S. cases has reached 15. Only 3 deaths have been reported outside mainland China, most recently in Japan. Closer to home, there have been 2 reported cases of the coronavirus in the Chicago area. In response, Loyola's Wellness Center sent an email to the campus community earlier this month, encouraging students and faculty to practice good hand hygiene. The Wellness Center is offering free face masks as a precaution for those who want them. Symptoms of the coronavirus include fever, coughing, and difficulty breathing. Although the virus can be deadly, the Wellness Center is assuring students that these cases have no connection to Loyola.
There isn't widespread transmission in the United States. There certainly is not widespread transmission in Chicago. We've had 2 cases in Chicagoland, person-to-person transmission, and there's been nothing since.
Holden says anyone who exhibits signs or symptoms of the coronavirus should seek medical care immediately and avoid contact with others. Students on the Lakeshore campus have access to one less sidewalk this spring. Cudahy Science Hall is undergoing a $14.5 million renovation. It's the second oldest building on campus and was last renovated in the 1980s. According to the university, Cudahy's classrooms were not meeting students' needs. There were no working elevators, and the heating and ventilation system need repairs. Construction began on December 15th and is scheduled to be finished by August 1st. In the meantime, no classes are being held inside Cudahy, and the sidewalk outside the east entrance is closed. This past summer, Loyola's new podcasting studio opened for limited use. Now the university is celebrating the official unveiling with an open house event. The studio began when the School of Communication and Loyola's radio station, WLUW, wanted to provide a professional recording space for students. The studio is next to the radio station at the Water Tower campus and includes state-of-the-art recording and editing equipment. It's free for students and communication faculty and available at a small fee for outside groups and faculty in other departments. WLUW manager Eleni Priliman says the official open house will be on Friday, February 14th.
It was something that I had kind of seen in the past 5 years, just being here over time. I knew that we needed to develop our production studio, and more I had prospective students, current students, faculty members, staff members just asking about a podcast space.
Anyone looking to book the studio can email WLUW's production staff. February is Black History Month, and Loyola's Black Cultural Center is doing a lot to celebrate and commemorate its history all month. Hallie Jefferson reports on the first event of the month and what they're planning afterwards.
February is the busiest month for Loyola's Black Cultural Center, or BCC, as they plan an event for every week. Jocelyn Dillard has been co-president for the past 2 years and works to incorporate different pieces of Black culture, celebration, and education into the month.
So Black Voices Uninterrupted, the name starts as in you're going to listen to our story. And this is not a space for you. This is a space where you get to listen to us, talk about our experiences, and really amplify who we are, the struggles in which we go through, but the things in which we're proud of.
BCC kicked off the month with TEDx, Black Voices Uninterrupted, where Black students showcased their artwork, spoken word, and songs of their choice. The audience could also participate at an open mic session after everyone performed. Elise Pernsley was on the committee for this event and primarily in charge of getting the word out to as many people as possible.
And it's just like nice to have an increased presence during February, make sure that people know that we're here, even though there's not that many of us, like, we're gonna be here.
With the Black population only making up 5% of Loyola's undergraduate student population as of fall 2018, building community is a key goal.
It just like heightens a sense of community within the Black population at Loyola, and for people who like don't usually come to BCC events during the rest of the year, I feel like Black History Month is like the time when people do really show out the most.
February tends to be the month with the most attendance at Black Cultural Center events, but Dillard and Pernsley hope to keep it consistent throughout the year with their programming. Hallie Jefferson, Loyola News Chicago.
Next week, there will be a showing of Spike Lee's movie Black Klansman in the Damon Cinema and a visit to the Art Institute of Chicago. Both events are open for anyone to join in. 2 Loyola graduate students have launched an app to improve Chicago's CTA accessibility. Elevate Chicago was released in September by Tyler Arndt and Sam Siner as part of an independent study for their master's program. The app allows users to check the status of elevators at any CTA station. It also uses CTA data to send users alerts when elevators are out of order. Only 103 of the CTA's 145 stations are handicap accessible, so Arndt says the app is solving a real problem for handicapped users.
It would happen where they would leave their house, travel a few blocks to get to their station, and then realize they can't even get on the platform. Or even worse, if you're traveling somewhere, get off at a platform that doesn't even have an elevator, not knowing that, and now you're stranded on that particular platform.
Arndt says the app has also been helpful for people with strollers or luggage. Right now, the app is only available for Android phones, but Arndt says Siner plans to launch an iPhone version later this year. Says what a great solution to a widespread problem. Coming up on Loyola News Chicago, how to see the stars in Chicago this weekend, and how your New Year's resolution could win you a prize. The Illinois primary is coming up, and time is ticking to register to vote. Since the Illinois primaries on March 17th, the deadline to register is the beginning of the month. If you're an out-of-state student who wants to vote in Illinois, you can use your on-campus residence as your primary address when registering to vote. There does not need to be an intent of permanently staying there, or you could get an absentee ballot and vote in your home state. Loyola's student government has encouraged students to vote and become engaged with civic education through various initiatives.
A lot of people are deterred from engaging with democracy, politics, because it is a lot of information that comes with a lot of emotion, and that can get very tiring. But to that, take a break, take care of yourself, but also don't be afraid to re-engage and continue to educate yourself.
You can find more information on voter registration at vote.org. Rogers Park is officially saying goodbye to one of its most iconic restaurants after more than 4 decades. The Heartland Cafe at the corner of Lunt and Glenwood was demolished last spring to make way for a new apartment building. But according to the Loyola Phoenix, the building's developers have reduced the number of apartments planned from 60 to 30. The Phoenix reports the change was to prevent overpopulation in North Rogers Park. Construction on the new housing units is set to begin as early as next month. The NBA's most glamorous stage, NBA All-Star Weekend, starts tomorrow at the United Center right here in Chicago. Our own Tim Edmonds was at Loyola's Water Tower campus asking students their opinions on the big event coming to town.
The NBA All-Star Game is making its return to Chicago for the first time since 1988. Still, local fans will not be able to see Bulls star Zach LaVine, as the shooting guard did not make the cut in a crowded Eastern Conference field.
It makes sense that he's on All-Star because it seems like they're going with the approach that they're trying to get good players from good teams, and right now the Bulls are not the best team.
Most Loyola students will not be able to attend due to high ticket prices. Others believe it's an excellent opportunity for the city's businesses and hotels to cash in.
I was looking on SeatGeek and its tickets were $1,200. I'm not about to pay $1,200 because I don't have $1,200 in my budget for that. I mean, it'd be really cool, but a lot of people do want to go. They bring in a lot of revenue for the All-Star Game, so it makes sense why the tickets are so high.
Economy. Chicago, we need that outside money to come in. We need our restaurants, our hotels, and other ancillary small business, big businesses to profit from this event. So it's good for us.
Last year's host city of Charlotte saw its hotels post close to 171% increases in revenue. This year, Chicago's hotels and businesses are hoping for a similar effect. Tim Edmonds, Loyola News, Chicago.
Thanks, Tim. And Bulls fans, don't worry. You still will get to see some Zach LaVine. He will be competing in the three-point shootout Saturday night. And we just learned this afternoon the entire fourth quarter of the All-Star Game will be broadcast commercial-free. Hallett's Recreation Center may stay busy all year, but as the winter drags on, the people pour in. The gym sees some of its busiest months after students return to school for the spring. Swipe counts are used to measure how many people enter each month. The highest count is always the first day of classes in August, but Campus Recreation Director Megan Morris says the second busiest day comes in February.
That's when we have pretty much all of our programming going on, so we have intramural sports, club sports, group fitness, personal training, Ramble Outdoors, everything's all at once, plus our general membership that's in the facility. So those days, we'll see swipe counts over the 2,000 to 2,500 mark on a given day.
Cold weather and less on-campus activities help make February the gym's busiest month. To beat the crowds, Moore suggests skipping the most popular times, 4 to 8 p.m., and trying the slowest on Sunday afternoons. Hallis is open for 18 hours every weekday and 16 on the weekends, meaning there's plenty of time to work around busy schedules. Loyola students who are working on their fitness resolution goals can now get some reward for working out. Hallis Recreation Center is continuing its tradition of Spin into Spring for students who participate in group fitness classes in the Spin Studio. Last year, students who completed 12 classes in February got a prize. This year, to encourage more participants, Hallis is shortening the requirement from 12 to 10 classes.
If you complete all 10 this year, the first 50 participants to complete all 10 classes within a month will get a Campus Recreation blender bottle with a little prize pack inside of it.
Even if you're not one of the first 50 to complete 10 classes in February, you can still get a small Campus Recreation prize. And Valentine's Day can be a special occasion for many. Loyola News Chicago reporter Michael Faso asked around Loyola's Water Tower campus to see what some people have planned.
With Valentine's Day tomorrow, I want to go around and ask some fellow Ramblers and random people what their plans are for the special couples and things day. Okay, let's do it. Do you have any Valentine's Day plans? No comment. Okay, well, no Valentine's Day plans for her. Okay. Any Valentine's Day plans?
No.
Do you have a special woman in your life? Or man,
Yes.
you know, we don't judge here. Okay, we're here at the Provost Luncheon, and I want to see what everyone's doing for Valentine's Day, so let's check it out. Any fun plans?
We're going to watch TV and then fall asleep.
Oh, you know, I'm doing the same thing, but by myself. It's dead silent. Nobody's doing anything. Anyone married here?
It's Friday. Yeah, married, but
No fun plans?
no, there's a broken part. That's all.
Oh. Well, you know, there's a number you can call. We have a great wellness center. Well, there you have it. Not much of a response for the Valentine's Day. We got some Valentine's Day questions answered, but overall, you know, we got some quiet people here, so maybe not celebrating as much as they used to or ever. But for now, at the Water Tower campus, Michael Faso, Loyola, New Chicago.
Wow, thank you, Michael. It's a season of love, but apparently not for people in or around Loyola. But thank you for tuning into this first newscast of Loyola New Chicago. We'll be back next week. I hope everybody has a great Valentine's Day weekend, and I hope it's better than the people we just saw.